hyena haven't been forced away by vehicles, which is good. Although it's tempting, I suppose, almost every guy that's in here to try and do something about these hyenas. Everybody knows that they keep our distance, and we've got to make sure that whatever happens is the way nature plans it all. Can't get a glimpse of that other one, but also really beautiful light on this hyena's face. Yeah. She's not too happy with us being so close. Maybe.
Well, they're probably hoping to get some of the scraps that fall.
So that's how it is. It's all about waiting for something to happen, because the hyena can't do anything. I mean, let's face it. This is the standoff. The hyena can't do anything. What they can do is they can try and chase Shadow away. They can sort of try and rush her, and then she'll run away a little bit or climb a tree, and then they'll retreat back here because they don't want to miss anything out over here. So they're reluctant to go anywhere but here. And she can't do anything, because as soon as she came near the tree, they'd chase her and they'd try and kill her. So as long as they keep their little distance like this, the only thing that can happen is for something to happen in the tree, unfortunately, and that's for that cub to get hungry sometime tonight, and hopefully it'll be long after the game drives have been here, and it'll be by the light of the stars and the moon. Well, it'll be a very late moon. And that some of the meat falls down and some of the situation is resolved, but at the moment, kind of a really difficult situation. So I know there are going to be other vehicles wanting to come and have a look, so we need to try and remove ourselves from this equation. It's not going to be easy. I'd like to get a little glimpse of Shadow before we go. Yummy. From this angle, actually, we can get a good glimpse of both leopard, and you can see the kill from this angle too. A little bit off to the side. It's not an easy tree for a leopard to leave a kill, because without any horizontal branches, it makes it a bit difficult for them to move around.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. What's your program called again?
Or also,
log on to the net.
yeah, also through National Geographic Wild, Nat Geo Wild. Yeah. Okay. Wild Safari Live it is. It's called wildsafariLive.com or wildearth.tv. Do join us when you get back. You'll still be able to see the same, continue with this drama.
Yeah.
Bush clearing. Okay. That's quite an interesting question from Lisa. Lisa wants to know how come leopard get nervous with hyena around, because hyena can't climb. Well, it's not so much. Huh? What about her? What about her? Huh? Yeah, so how was it away? It's like, sorry, look at look at Shadow. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm dense. I'm not see-through. Yeah, she's not pleased with that little attempt at a joke either. How come they're nervous because hyena can't really climb? Well, the thing is that if hyena get hold of them, they don't really have much of a defense against hyena. They are a fraction of the size of hyena. They're so much small. Geez, really, Morne? But you can see she's not really that nervous. She's actually she's quite comfortable being this close to them, because she knows that she can outpace them up to a tree to get away from them, but she is not going to go anywhere without her cub. She's only here to be able to be with her cub and to give reassurance, and hopefully to warn the cub not to try and move around and not try to climb down the tree. The hyena are not really bothered with her, because they know that they'll run circles around her before they'll get her, and it's a waste of energy. There are, as I've said before, there are two things that they're interested in. They're either interested in that carcass, or they're interested in the cub, whichever comes out of that tree first. And at the moment, since the carcass isn't moving but the cub is, it doesn't take a genius to work out which is the most likely to be first out of the tree. We can only hope that it isn't, and that something happens, that cub tries to feed and dislodges the carcass, or something happens. What would be great would be to see her getting to that tree, but with the hyenas so close, they are preventing her from approaching the tree, because they're almost at the base of the tree. So it's not so much that they're fairly safe from hyena because hyena can't climb. It's more a case of there's a certain amount of time they can spend in a tree, and they've got to be on the ground at for a large portion of their time, and consequently that's when they're the most vulnerable, when they're on the ground and hyena are able to get them. The hyena will ignore her and go for the cub because it's smaller, it's slower, it's far more vulnerable. And I would say that even somewhat vindictive, they would actually rather eliminate the cub than settle for the carcass. There's such strong competition amongst the predators. She's tired. She's been vigilant for 2 days now. She probably hasn't slept. She hasn't eaten. She too probably hasn't had anything to drink. Here comes another hyena in the distance. We can probably just lift the camera to see a third one coming in. It's going to be an awkward night all around. Yeah, she's heard it coming. She could hear those footprints. She could hear those footsteps. So this is an interesting. We'll see what she does. Just gonna slink away. It's a young hyena, fortunately. She's just going to try and avoid it. I don't think, well, who knows? Let's see what happens. There is a dead tree here. She can jump onto that fallen knobthorn if she needed. She's welcome to jump on the Land Rover, although the engine's probably a bit hot. But I think the hyena, being a youngster, will probably avoid her. She's hissing at it. Once again, it's probably a little bit too much to risk injury when there's no need to actually confront her at all. Being a young hyena, hyena's only coming to the adults. It's coming to see what's around. Probably learnt about this earlier last night sometime, and they've been sleeping elsewhere during the day, coming back to investigate. She's not a comfortable cat, but she's keeping her distance, showing her displeasure. Barely audible hiss. Now relaxing. Jeffrey in Texas. One of those questions, Jeffrey. So I'm going to try and move, and it might be okay because we're not going too far. I just want to go back a little bit. How long will the hyena hang around? Jeffrey, there's no way to know. Absolutely no way whatsoever. Unique circumstance. These circumstances have never occurred before time, and they never will occur again. This is a one-off moment, and the very reason why we are here is to see what transpires, because there's no way of knowing, not even a psychic. Nobody can know how long they will stay around, whether they stick around and wait. There could very well be something that attracts their attention nearby, that they hear something being killed, or some other hyena kill something and they rush off to another kill, and it's far more efficient to go to a sure thing to wait around here for something might have happened. So there is an untold number of possibilities of what can happen. That is one of the, as I say, why we're here, so that we will be able to monitor this and try and keep track of what's going on. Fortunately, the guys here at Arathusa will be able to come and visit as well tomorrow, maybe before we can get here. Scott will be in Wendy tomorrow, so he can come straight here almost, see what's happening in the morning, to do an update. But a very, very interesting confrontation, and something that we speak about a lot. We often talk about the kind of interspecific interactions that take place, and I can't remember, well, apart from the Karula incident last month when she lost her cub, and there that young hyena is actually walking around the base of the tree now. She's watching it. But other than that, it's been a long time since we've seen the kind of interaction between leopard and hyena like we had with Mishun in Duna and Karula, and those hyenas in the dip just off of Weaver's Nest and Treehouse. The little one's actually cleaning itself, although you're not going to be able to see it. I don't know if you can. There's a way to get through. I can move a little bit to try and get a little glimpse. It's actually quite amazing, because this late afternoon sun is now shining sideways into this knobthorn, straight onto the face of this baby leopard, and it'd be hard to try and get it through the branches, but maybe we can get a frame like that. Not quite.
Not bad, but
No, it's not bad at all. Just at night, it's not moving. It was moving earlier. It was doing a bit of grooming.
here we go.
Something's tickling its tail. Or oh, it's watching the young hyena below it. That's what it's doing. The young hyena is walking right below the tree, and the little leopard's watching it. And they're going to be enemies for life. Those two, young hyena, young leopard. They're going to be knocking heads for the rest of their lives because they live in the same place, and there's always going to be a kill that one comes to that the other one's at. So I'm thinking if we should use the last little bit of light to go and see those two Birmingham boys and see what they might do when they start waking up. Or I'm thinking maybe we're just going to sit here and watch the light fade. Let's see if we can move a little bit and get some of those expressions on this little one's face. Same shadow.